Earlier today, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino had a press conference where they announced that they arrested a suspect in the January 6th pipe bomber case. Now, the writers at Blaze Media will be disappointed to find out that it wasn't the Capitol Police officer that they threw under the bus last month. In case you forgot, they wrote an entire article saying former Capitol Police officer a forensic match for January 6th pipe bomber. They went after this woman, claiming that her walking gait matched that of the January 6th pipe bomber. And Republicans jumped all over this, including Thomas Massie, who has been standing up to Trump when it comes to the Epstein files, but when it comes to January 6th, he is fully on the side of the coup. He says this part of the plan was likely to pull Capitol Police, the vast majority of the police were not in on it, resources away from the Capitol at the very moment the protesters were incited by other elements of this conspiracy to breach the Capitol. And Amy Kramer, who ran Women for Trump and literally organized the rally that Donald Trump spoke at on January 6th, straight up says this woman was the Capitol Hill pipe bomber. Well, unfortunately for those conspiracy theorists, the suspect was not a Capitol Hill police officer. A Northern Virginia man was arrested in connection with 2 pipe bombs that were planted outside the Democratic National Committee and Republican National Committee headquarters on the eve of the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021, federal authorities announced Thursday. January 6 pipe bomb suspect Brian Cole, arrested, faces explosive charges, Trump DOJ says. The suspect, Brian Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia, is charged with use of an explosive device, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said. They all had their chance to speak at this press conference, and they all talked about how amazing the law enforcement officers are and how any attack on the government, on a government property, is an attack on everyone. And the irony just seemed to escape all of them because, remember, Donald Trump pardoned 1,500 rioters from January 6th. He pardoned people that violently assaulted police officers. He pardoned people that were facing 25 to 30 years in prison. He did a blanket pardon that could potentially be used by this suspect to get out of going to prison. Because in Donald Trump's and MAGA's eyes, the insurrection that happened on January 6th was nothing more than a bunch of patriots who love their country. So the fact that they're even mad about this pipe bomber makes no sense. Is he just not another patriot of Donald Trump? Here's Kash Patel talking a big game, saying that attacking the government is terrible and we're gonna come for you.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country the nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here.
It's absolutely insane. And don't get me wrong, I want the pipe bomber to be caught. And if this man actually is the pipe bomber, then he should be held to the fullest account of the law. But the pipes didn't go off. Nobody was actually hurt by this person. And on the flip side, Donald Trump pardoned people who did actually harm people. He pardoned people who brutalized police officers for over 4 hours. He pardoned the people that led to the death of Officer Sicknick. He pardoned the people that caused Officer Fanone to have a heart attack. He pardoned people who broke bones, who broke windows, who broke into our Capitol with the intent to murder politicians. But the guy who couldn't get a pipe bomb to go off is where you draw the line? Podcaster Dan Bongino also got up there and said that this is what happens when you have an administration that lets you go get the bad guys.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement. This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliche, but cliches are useful for a reason.
I genuinely wonder how the career FBI officials and Capitol Police officers who did help with this investigation feel about the fact that, yes, while they might be at least on the surface pretending to take this seriously, this administration absolutely does not take seriously what happened on January 6th. Like, it was fun for Republicans when they thought the pipe bomber was a young female Capitol Police officer with short hair. That fit their narrative that this was an inside job, which again, that narrative doesn't make any sense because Donald Trump was the president. Donald Trump was running the country at that point. If it was an inside job, he was at the top. But their narrative is that rogue FBI agents and Capitol Police officers were in on this attack of the United States Capitol on behalf of Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and the Democrats. But him not being some Antifa leftist Capitol Police officer harms their narrative. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this continues to play out, to see how Fox News, to see how they all report on this, because they are tripping over their own hypocrisy here. The last clip I want to show from this press conference is Jeanine Pirro talking about how this was a team effort with the help of government employees, who she then praises, completely ignoring the fact that this entire administration started with DOJ attacking all federal employees and saying that they are useless. And she's up there like, oh my gosh, these government employees, they're amazing. You have no idea how hard they work. Jeanine Pirro, we do know how hard they work. That's why we were all upset that DOJ was firing them all. But of course, here she is praising them today because they can now act like this is some sort of major win for them, even though in the overall conspiracy that they have concocted, this actually makes them look bad. And because of the precedent set by Donald Trump by pardoning 1,500 violent terrorists, this man could actually get off. He could face no accountability because Donald Trump has already said that those that committed crimes on January 6th are patriots who should not be in a prison. Anyway, here's Jeanine Pirro.
Around the clock, in the middle of the night, it doesn't matter. We call each other, we make contact, they need a warrant, they need something, someone wants legal advice. These are the men and women who never give it up. You hear about government employees, but I don't know if you really realize what it is that they do. They are incredible, and this case is big.
I guess it's a good thing that they are praising government employees now. And again, if this person is actually the pipe bomber, if they actually got the guy that did this, then amazing work. Kudos to all those involved. I refuse to give any congratulations to Kash Patel or Dan Bongino or Pam Bondi or Judge Jeanine Pirro because they are crazy people. If this is real, it is because of the work on the ground of actual dedicated law enforcement officers. But at the same time, everything MAGA does is a performance and a conspiracy, and the timing of this is suspicious. Kash Patel has been under fire for weeks for his use of his plane for private events and for flying his girlfriend all over the country. He is being made fun of for needing his FBI raid jacket, which he was not wearing today. He has been a running joke in this administration, so he needed a win. And like I said, if this is real, amazing, amazing work. But I'm not going to just take the word of Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Fox News drunk daytime co-host Judge Jeanine Pirro. Excuse my skepticism when a month ago you guys were all claiming that it was a Capitol Police officer who did this because of the way she walked. And this, to wrap this video up, is the fundamental issue with having MAGA sycophant psychopaths in charge like this is the complete lack of trust. They are so blinded by their thirst for power that they can't even see the hypocrisy and the bullshit that they are sitting in. And we as the American people are left with a choice. Do we just believe what they have to say at face value, or do we question it? I am going to continue to question it until there is real, hard evidence that this is the person. I'm not just going to take their word for it. We all know that the conspiracy of January 6th was way bigger than the actual violent riot, that there were people working from the top to the bottom to try and stage this coup, that they continued to work from 2020 until the 2024 election. And these people at this press conference were all big players in that in their own way, whether it was by spreading propaganda or running cover for Trump legally. So again, just to wrap this up, the hypocrisy, the timing of this, it is all so suspicious and suspect. But I will do my best to continue to follow this story among all the other 1,000 things that are happening simultaneously. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share this video and like and subscribe if you want more content like this.